All right, what's up, you guys? Ready for part 2 of Operation Orange Van. Sorry, Operation Ugly Orange Van. I don't know where this is going, but you know, sometimes when I start a design, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of drawing, and we're ready to see what happens. But if you do have an idea in mind, usually that turns out a teensy bit better, but it doesn't matter. All right, so in our last video, you saw that I got this far on the van. We're kind of just fleshing out what could it look like, what you know, how we're applying the color. And right now I'm going back and I can see some angles that are definitely off and try my best to fix those, but what's done is done. And I'm gonna add a little bit more shadow here, like that. So in this video, what we're gonna do is go ahead and keep going on the details, talk about how to add additional colors besides your prime color to pull out some depth. We're gonna draw the inside, which we don't often do in my videos. Then we're gonna add the white highlights, do all the super cool fun stuff that we normally do to finish our videos. So in here, I'm gonna come back and make these LEDs. So I think when we're all done, I'm probably gonna just make these white. I might try to erase a little bit of that and then bring in the orange to identify that, you know, there's some depth here, that this comes around and there's a little bit of an angle there. Give it a little meaner look, even though this does not look like a mean van at all. This looks like a pretty fun van that some really nice, cool friends that you have, they would have this van and they would take you to the beach in it. Or it could be for like really elite executives and it's actually bulletproof and it looks like a fun little clown car, but it actually has rocket launchers in it and it's bulletproof and missile proof and things like that. So I don't really know, but let us just keep going on it and see where this takes us. All right, so we did some of the black last time, and this is a rear view mirror. It's not the prettiest one I've drawn, but apparently for this bulletproof car, we're gonna need that. Also, don't forget, under your rear view mirrors, you gotta add some shadow there because that's the shadow from your mirror. Also, when you go over a marker with chalk, if you still want that marker there, it dulls it a little bit, so don't forget you're gonna have to go over that again. Now, I'm gonna get out a little bit of this warm gray and hint at some of these interior spaces, like that. Not too much. I usually don't like overdoing it for that, but that's what you can do to kind of imply that there's, you know, there's activity in here and there's another seat and things like that, but not on this window. This window is what's reflecting right from the outs, you know, reflecting the skyline. So that one's not going to be able to see into it. I am going to take my regular thin line Bic pen here and bolden these lines that separate the this door from this door. So just doing that, I'm going to bring that around, bolden that a little bit. There we go. Okay, now these doors, I didn't really think this through, but you know, let's think about what could we do on the interior, and this is going to be a window, obviously. So if it is bulletproof, I guess I would do a little bit of design on the inside like that, and you know, we'll need to add a bit of depth here. That's all window, and what we're going to go through, that's probably mostly going to be gray and see-through and things like that. And then we've got whatever this wacky door closure system is. I guess we need to define a little bit of how that's going to work. So that doesn't look right at all, but we'll go back and fix this. And remember, these are inset. Let's have a little bit of a recess in them, so we're going to use our orange to define some of that. Probably define a little bit of color there, and then the rest we're just going to do with some gray. Now on the inside here, I think we're going to use warm gray. So sometimes you can mix warm gray with colors too, so that you're kind of darkening the color. So you can see here, we know there's orange in there. I went over it with the gray, and I'm going to go over all of this stuff with gray too, just to give it some depth and definition and shading. So you can see now. Now this is a 60% warm gray. I think I'm going to go ahead and switch to this 40% in here. Oh, now this 40%, wow, this I forgot. Some of these warm gray really blur more than others, depending if you're working with your going over Bic pen. So let me chill out on that one for a second. Let's go back and get some more black chalk here. Scrape that up. And I'm going to do this interior window in that method and just kind of fade it up like that. So obviously heavily tinted. If it's armored, it's going to be super thick. That's pretty cool. I'm not totally wild about this, but I'm just trying some different things here. So bear with me. What I'm going to do is use my eraser to kind of make these white lines just to give it some depth and allude that it's reflecting different things. All right, so now that we're in the inside. So let's think about what could we do on the inside here to give it some depth, and we get real creative. So let's make this. That's the back window there. All right, and we got a back seat, 1, 2. So these are like captain's chairs because these are super nice. So I'm going to bring some little bit of design up here, and a lot of people like to do, you know, is have these lines like this. Really nice kind of seating option. I might wrap around a little wood design here. Maybe this is like a reading light and a temperature control. And in the middle here, obviously, we're going to have some kind of drop down for like entertainment or a cooler or something like that. This is going to fold over here. And then down here, a lot of these really nice, you know, conversion Sprinter vans and stuff, they have a flip out footrest. So we're going to kind of imply to the best that we can that there's a flip out footrest as well as maybe some sort of you know, container or beverage holder or something like that there. So, all right, so we've got a little bit more of our, you know, maybe what we'll do as well is put up a kind of bump here. Maybe this is for speakers, lights, and, you know, curtains, any kind of cool stuff like that. So we're going to bring this up. This is our door jamb, so that's actually going to be, this is all going to be orange as well. Go ahead and fill that in now. Now, we're not going to give it an orange interior because that would just be ridiculous. But what we will do is try to give it a light gray, white leather kind of treatment, and just see how that looks at first. All right, so the first thing I want to do is, let's see, get out a cool gray, warm gray. Now remember, this is the one where it's really going to bleed a lot. So I actually I'm going to use this real sparingly and just give it some real neat treatments right in there like that. Now I do want to do the wood accents and make sure that we get the wood right, because wood can go horribly wrong if you start getting just too much brown in there. Tell you what we can do too is let's go ahead and switch to a cool gray. Let me find one. If we switch to a cool gray, it's going to be a little bit more blue. Like here's a cool gray. This is cool gray 20%. So let's try this and see if this gives us any definition. Oh man, it's bleeding all over the place. I don't like that at all. Maybe, you know what, let's try a different approach. I think what I might do is switch to chalk and get as precise as possible. Get some black on here and just give it a give it a dark interior like that. Fade it down. And actually this interior portion, this back window, it's going to be pretty dark anyway. So we can go ahead and take advantage of that and bring out some dark shadows like that. Now clearly this is not my area of expertise. Hopefully you have better results. Gotta get rid of some of that there. But maybe what we'll try is a different color. Maybe what we'll do is, like here's kind of a cream color. I've never done this before, but hey, let's try it. We'll try a bit of a cream. Maybe we can imply that it's got some, you know, some leather or pleather. But let's just dust some of this on and see how it looks. All right, not the worst. Maybe it doesn't need a ton of color in there. So let's try that, and then let's go ahead and hey, check this out. I've got this bronze trio, and I rarely use it, but it might be a really cool touch to bring in. Try this out. Remember, these are our like courtesy lights and you know, entertainment controls, stuff like that. So that could be a nice touch if it's not overdone. It is pretty strong, so hopefully I'm not overdoing it here, but we'll just bring some lines down, try that. You know, it's got all these cool accents, and it's supposed to look really nice. So all right, that's all right, let's try that. And then I do want to bring down and see if we can get that oh, here we go, get this real dark definite edge going. Now this, I know this is too strong, so bear with me here, but we're gonna bring it all together. It's all gonna be fine, so don't worry. I'm gonna do that, and then you know, in here we've got the cup holders, and I don't want to use too much of this black in here. Something like that. All right, so that's something. And this is our kick plate, by the way. And a lot of like really nice cars have these really cool kick plates. We're gonna come back with our white and do something real slick in there, so don't worry. Let's try a little cool gray in here. Okay, like that. And I'll do a little cool gray up here. And fade that up a little bit there. And what I will do is go in and add a little bit more design elements. Like that. Bring that around. So you can't win them all, everybody. Okay. Let me try. Let's try a different marker. This one is much wet. This is much more wet than the others, but we will just try a little bit of this in here and see if we can bring that depth. This marker really smells, just so you know. There you go. Now this is like a classic industrial design marker. This chart pack one. And you can spot it from 100 miles away when it's being used in industrial design or product design, things like that. So it is a really great marker and a good fallback, but just be aware that it can be pretty wet compared to some of your other markers. All right, so that's coming along. We're grooving. I can live with this. Can you live with this? Yes? All right, so maybe what I'll do is just cover some larger portions with it, like that. And you can see here, I'm gonna do it over the orange, bring out that depth like that, fade it up, and then we'll apply it some of these ridges that I made, you know, for the leather. Do it over the top. And the deeper into the car you go, the darker it is. So, all right, well, oh, and this will match too, because if this is part of the interior, it's gonna be seamless on the inside, so it's gonna match with all of these things. Do a little bit there, a little bit there. Okay, all right, well, a little bit there too. I'm gonna use this as part of the headlights. We're gonna clean that up later. Bring it around here. Now, mind you, if you use it on too many colors, like I am doing, your marker can get a little dirty. So what I will do one more time before we switch to the fun white part is bring another round of orange over just to add that depth. Bring it down here, like that. Okay. Cool. All right. Good. A little up here maybe. And teensy bit right there. All right. You know what? This would look really good orange. You know, this middle like accent piece. Bam. There we go. It's that really fun part of it. Okay. All right, now I haven't done the wheels yet, so let's just knock those out real quick. I'm just gonna bring a little warm gray, and I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on these because I need to wrap up this video, but I'm gonna do some of that. All of these little recesses, I'm gonna do those. See how I'm doing that? I'm just kind of going in, and you can see where it's bleeding out the Bic pen. Hey, whatever. If you want it to be like frameable, you should use vellum paper. All right, now that wheel line is off. Maybe it's a little better now. And I know you are off, Mr. Back Wheel, so there you go. Always keep going on those shadows. There we go. Something like that. Something like that. All right, now for the fun part, we're gonna use our gouache. So I'm gonna get a teensy bit of water over here at the sink. You remember this, you've seen how this goes, right? I'm gonna squeeze out some of my gouache, just a little dab. And man, I've had this gouache forever. You're not gonna use a ton of it. You just need a little smudge. Mine's apparently drying out too much, but you know, we don't need that much, so let me just get a little bit more out. There we go. Like that. Then I'm gonna get my teeny tiny paintbrush. Where are you, tiny paintbrush? Here it is, look at that, okay? So remember, little dip, get it going in that, not too much water. Whoops, I used too much. Get rid of some of that. And okay, here we go. So remember, light source here, we're gonna put some one, you know, dot right there. Oh, I can tell it's already too wet. I used too much water. Try to get some of that goo in the middle there. We're gonna use a little bit on this rear view. Gonna use a little bit on this bottom door line, and down here where the you know, where the light's coming from. We got a door line here and here on the window, and I like to draw it to a point, push it down, and then draw it out. It makes a nice little kind of like blip. Now, headlights, I'm just gonna do these all white because these are LEDs or something like that. So we're gonna do those all white, but then we're gonna come back and fiddle with those later. I'm gonna put a little white dots. Oh, we forgot our logo. Oh well. You figure out what kind of car you want it to be. I'm not going to do too much on the inside here because I don't want to overdo it, but maybe I'll apply a little bit there, and if I can, do some real thin white lines. I may soften those later. Actually, I know I will. Do a little bit more on here. Do some right here. See how I'm doing this? So I'm got a super thin brush, which ironically is really expensive even though there's barely anything to it. And you're just kind of dragging it across. So do a little bit on the wheels here. 1, 2, and I always like to add a little bit of dots going around so it looks like tread. It's like really shiny tires. So that's cool, like that. Another little dip. I'm gonna go bop, bop, bop. Whoa, that's really thick. Okay, something like that. Now look, this paper has actually absorbed the paint in a pretty cool way, so I might just go back and add a few dots and not really mess with that. I think that actually turns out pretty cool. So I'm gonna let that dry. Always gonna sign my name if I can find my pen. We'll do a little put my name on it, and yeah, here's the car. So, you know, it's a weird orange van. The thing flips up. We got some inside. Mostly gave it like a white, like a light gray, warm gray kind of treatment. Those headlights, I'm going to end the video here, but I'm going to go back and fiddle with those headlights and add some, probably a couple dots of gray back in. But here you go. Let me know if you have any questions. Subscribe to my channel, and me and my giant bucket of Prismas, I'm going to go back and go back to our lair. See you later!